What we're talking about is how to be able to get startups or businesses evaluated so that they are investment ready. There is a big gap which we're trying to bridge, because currently what happens is that a startup or a business has the business plan, either has been running or has the idea, but they speak a different language from what the investors are looking for. So what we found is a tool that is used by corporates globally and incubators and accelerators to be able to bridge that gap. So what we're going to do is implement this process as part of a program where we're first going to evaluate a business, find out the place that they fit into, and then we're going to suggest programs and a material that they need to follow to upgrade themselves with our assistance if they need it. Then we can be able to get them to a level that the investors are willing to look at them. So as part of our project, so what it's called, it's building businesses according to the lean startup model. So when we start evaluating businesses, we need to understand what is it that they are missing. So I'm going to open up my email to show you this example, this assessment tool that we've got, that we've used for the dairy project in Nigeria. So what you're seeing on the screen is an evaluation chart that is used by a group called, created by a group called Village Capital. It's based on the material that I've got from Steve Blank, which is an entrepreneur turned lecturer and I think professor at Stanford, Columbia, and a few other universities. So what is created is this evaluation tool to be able to check at which stage a business is in and in different sectors. So at the bottom of the scale, you can see the different areas we can evaluate. Is the team? Does this particular project have a team capable of delivering? The vision, impact, do they know where they're going to, how they're going to get there? The value proposition, what is it that they're offering to what value are they bringing to as the business? What value are they offering? What's the actual product and service? The market, is there a market for the product? Have they researched to see how large is the market? Which section is the market that they're targeting? What business model do they have? Are they able to scale the business? And finally, exiting. Whether they're willing to sell off their business, can they sell off? So these are the different areas that we'll check. And then, so what happens is that it's a chart with multiple questions and areas that need to be checked according to information that they've got. So say we go through the dairy project currently. So if you look at the initial block at the bottom, it says where it's establishing the team. An idea with at least one person dedicated full-time to the company. So do we have that type of person? Maybe yes, maybe no. Second, if you go up to the second stage, it says a team that at least two people who have direct personal experience with the problem that they are solving. So what this basically allows you to do is to evaluate the business to see at what stage are they. So this particular dairy farm, dairy project, do the people that we're speaking to have the ability or the experience necessary in that field? We need to then check that out. And then as it goes up on that level for the team, you can then define more specific detail. And so ideally, you want to get to a place where the market has been validated, there's a profitable business model. Do they have product market fit? I mean, they talk within this course that we're going to run after we've evaluated businesses and they don't have it, is talking about product market fit. Do we have a product that has been well researched? Is it in demand? Have we checked the market? Do we have research to back that up? So what this tool allows us to do is to evaluate businesses and see at what stage they are at. Then when we find out the stage that they're at, we can then suggest material or courses that they need to attend with our help or not to upgrade themselves such that they can be able to be investment ready at a certain level. There's some investors that are willing to invest in a business just based on the idea. Other investors want to see that you've done some research in a market, that they want to be sure that you have a good business model. You have checked out what's the good value proposition. Are you able to scale? Because some investors are looking to invest in a business from 1 to 2 to 5 years. So this metrics allows us to evaluate a business and then suggest where they can be able to get help. Once they go through that process and they apply what we've taught them, then we can be able to reevaluate their business and tell them and advise them which investors we can then connect them to. So I think this is what I've done. I mean, you can go back and check it against this. What I've done is that when I looked at my assessment of the dairy project, I looked at the dairy farm, and under the team, I did not select anything because I thought in my experience, in my understanding of what I read, part of their business plan is that they don't have first-hand experience in the dairy market. They might have business experience, but they don't have experience in the actual business that they're pursuing. Number two, under problem and vision, I set them at level 2 because I could see that their understanding, if I go back to the evaluation criteria, and if you look at setting a vision number 2 with impact and vision, it says that team can simply articulate before and after picture of their product and service. How is the world different if they succeed? So I selected that they fit under number 2 because number 3 says the team can articulate who else is solving the problem and why they are better in quality, faster, cheaper, better results. I do not think that they have evaluated enough of their competition to understand how they fare against what they are offering that's different. So that to me is something that they need to look at. And if I go back to the assessment for value proposition, I also left them on level 2. And level 2 speaks about team as evidence from a customer testimonial data that their solution solves an actual problem that the customer has. As we know in Nigeria currently is that there is a huge demand for dairy, for milk products produced by cows, and the market is wide open. So from using that data that we know and what they've collected, we know that there's definitely a market. So I can see that they've used evidence to verify that market. Then under product and service, I've also left them on level 2. And level 2 speaks about the team has developed a low fidelity version of their product or service and is free to move forward, not blockers by any patents. So it was me thinking between level 1 and level 2. Level 1 speaks about the team just having an idea of the product. And I think they're in between that phase where they haven't developed any product as such, where they can demonstrate to the market, but they are capable of doing it because we understand that once they receive the cows, they're able to be able to understand what they want to produce. So I put them there because the product we understand is a dairy product. When we're talking about market, under the market, I also left them on level 2. And when I assessed their market, I looked at the team understands the regulatory hurdles to entering the market and has set a plan to overcome them. So I think here they have done enough research to understand what the regulatory market is, what government is planning to do, and how they can be able to position themselves in that market. I haven't put them on level 3, which speaks about the team as initial evidence through sales that the target market wants to buy the product. You see, so what needs to happen now in this particular case is that there needs to be a process that the team needs to go through to be able to validate that if they were to bring a product to market, that there would be potential customers by having customer interviews, to speaking to actual people that might be able to purchase their product. Like they mentioned in their business plan, they'd like to supply supermarkets with their product. Have they spoken to those supermarkets? Do they know who they are? Are those supermarket owners willing to purchase from them? So that particular process that they need to go through. If I go back to the assessment and I now look at their business model, I've kept them on level 1. And on level 1, if you look at business model on level 1, it says that the team has identified a basic outline of a revenue model. And why I haven't selected number 2 is where it says the team can point to similar comparables in their market that have made money before. So I still think that this particular team needs to do market research to find out what is it that others in the similar market are doing. Are they trying to sell the product? At what price? Is there a model that they can base their business on? That will be something that they've looked at in other markets, whether in Nigeria or outside of Nigeria. What is it that they can apply so that they can be able to have success? When I go back to the assessment and I look at scale, I haven't graded them because I don't think they're at that level that they can consider even scale. Because the first, if I go back to the chart and I look at scale, scale said the team has core customer, as a core customer, but has identified multiple additional customer segments. So I think that they still need to go through that process to think about scale. For exit, the last one, I've also given them a 1 there. And that one is the team understands what an exit is and has an initial idea of how investors will make money. I think that they've gone through a process where they've thought about how an investor can come in and how an investor can then get revenue out. They've thought about it through the documents that they've sent through. So I think using this criteria, we can be able to assess where a particular business is, and then we can suggest to them what type of processes they can go through to upgrade their level. And that would be a course that we could put together. Currently, it's a 10-week course covering each of these different areas and how they could improve. And then watching them as we teach on a particular area like business model. They need to then go back to the market, do some knocking on doors, phoning potential people that will buy their product if it is in that area, and then getting data that they can use. Practical, evidence-based entrepreneurship, that's what it's called. So we'll use that evidence or that data to be able to determine whether this is a good product, a good path to go. Because what happens is that in order for you to be able to be attractive to investors, you need to go beyond just the PowerPoint presentation. You need to go beyond that investment deck that they talk about to be able to present your product. You need to go beyond the team that you're building, that you're putting together and presenting. Because even though you might have the right team, the product business model, research the market, what evidence that this product will be in demand in your particular location. All we're going to do is repackage it in a way, repackage you as an entrepreneur and your project in a way that is attractive to investors that can be able to get involved.
Yes, thank you very much, Megan. That was very good. Very good. You answered some questions. You talked about the duration of the program. And you also talked about the purpose to get the people investor ready. So I took steps. I took the people would assess, and then if they were good enough, they would go straight to the last step, access to capital investors. But if their business model did not meet the required standards, then they would be routed to a 10-week program. Then after the 10 weeks, they would be reevaluated, and hopefully they would have successfully completed the program, met all the criteria, and then been able to be channeled to investment capital or to be able to sit in front of investors. And I also gathered that this applies across the spectrum to startups as well as to existing companies looking for growth capital. It's
Yes.
a model that fits all those companies. Did I miss anything there?
No, I think, I think you've done a good assessment.
Okay.
And you put it in context that this is both for a venture that is at an idea level, right up to a current existing business.
Okay, thank you, Megan, for the great presentation.